Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in the noise gets too loud. The road gets too rough, Marcus Aurelius said, and giving up seems like the easiest option. But let me you, is it the easiest, or is it just the most familiar? Quitting is easy because it's known. But growth, true, lasting growth, only comes when you decide to fight through the unknown. They choose to risk it. They choose to restart. Marcus Aurelius. They choose to refocus. Resetting your mindset is not about forget everything you've been through. Marcus Aurelius said, it's about changing the way you see what you've through. Often, we carry the weight of past failures, disappointments, Marcus Aurelius said, and negative self-talk into every new chapter of our lives. These thoughts act like background noise, constant, distracting, and draining. Resetting your mindset means silencing that noise. Marcus Aurelius said, it means taking a deliberate pause and reiterate your experiences, your worth, and your potential. Too often, we tie our identity to our setbacks. We say, I failed, and slowly that becomes, I am a failure. These mindset becomes a prison. Marcus Aurelius said, trapping us in cycles of self-doubt and hesitation. Kelly, that unlocks that prison. It doesn't erase the past, Marcus Aurelius said, but it helps you reinterpret it. You didn't fail, you learned. You didn't lose, you grew. Marcus Aurelius said, you didn't fall behind, you were being pre-Eve. Is not automatic. It requires effort, awareness, Marcus Aurelius said, and courage. But when you begin to catch those them with truth, transformation begins. Marcus Aurelius said, it starts with acknowledging your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. Marcus Aurelius said, you may not be able to stop a negative thought from entering your mind, but you absolutely have the power to challenge it. Ask yourself, Marcus Aurelius said, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Refocus, the editor of your inner dialogue. Marcus Aurelius said, speak to yourself not with judgment, but with compassion, that progress is not linear. Marcus Aurelius said, that mistakes are not definitions, and that growth comfort. When you reset your mindset, Aurelius said, you make room for new beliefs, ones that empower you. You stop seeing obstacles as dead ends and start viewing them as detours. Marcus Aurelius said, sometimes even necessary ones. You realize that the opinions do not define your potential. Marcus Aurelius said, you stop seeking validation and start building from within. Aurelius' mindset is not focused on being perfect, but on being resilient. It's not about always knowing the next step, Marcus Aurelius said, but about trusting that you'll figure it out when you get there. This reset is also about letting go. Marcus Aurelius said, letting go of the should-haves, could-have-if, letting go of the version of yourself that was too afraid to try. Marcus Aurelius said, you don't need to carry outdated beliefs into a new season of life. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Marcus Aurelius said, you just need to show up each day with the intent better, feel stronger, and act with purpose. Marcus Aurelius said, your mindset is the foundation of everything. It's your choices, your relationships, and your future. Marcus Aurelius said, if your foundation is built on fear and doubt, even your efforts will feel unstable. Aurelius said, but if your mindset is rooted in self-belief, clarity, hope, you'll rise even in the face of failure. Marcus Aurelius said, resetting doesn't mean you'll never have another day or negative thought. Marcus Aurelius said, it means you'll be better equipped to handle them. It means you'll catch yourself sooner, bounce back quicker, Marcus Aurelius said, and move forward with more intention. It's not about pretending life is perfect, Marcus Aurelius said. It's about choosing to believe that you have the power to do differently, to think differently, and ultimately to live differently. This is the essence of Reset Minds. It's not a one-time event. It's a daily choice. Marcus Aurelius said, a personal commitment to stop being your worst critic and start becoming your greatest ally. When you learn to reset your mindset, Marcus Aurelius said, you don't just change your thoughts, you change your life. Reese is often seen as something to be ashamed of. Marcus Aurelius said, as if beginning again means you somehow failed. But that's a lie we're conditioned to believe. Marcus Aurelius said, we live in a world that glorifies linear success, where the narratives you must get it right the first time, or not at all. Marcus Aurelius said, and when life doesn't go according to that script, when relationships end, businesses fail. Marcus Aurelius said, or dreams seem to fade, we internalize the setback as some wrong with us. But restarting is not a weakness, Marcus Aurelius said. It's a powerful declaration that you're willing to keep mulling forward despite everything that tried to stop you. Marcus Aurelius said, there is courage in choosing to begin again. It takes strength to say, path wasn't right for me. Or, Marcus Aurelius said, I've outgrown this version of my life. Restarting learned something about yourself. About what matters, Marcus Aurelius said, what doesn't, and what you're truly capable of. Scratch. You're starting from experience, Marcus Aurelius said. From wisdom, from resilience earned the hard way. Every time you restart, you're not erasing the past. You're building on it. Marcus Aurelius said, you're taking the pieces of your story and rearranging them into something that fits who you're becoming. Still, Marcus Aurelius said, shame can creep in quietly. It tells you that the people ahead, they're doing better, faster, smoother. Marcus Aurelius said that you're behind, but comparison is the thief of joy, and it has no place in your restart. Your life is not a race. Marcus Aurelius said, there's no deadline for healing, no expiration, no one-size-fits-all timeline for success. Marcus Aurelius said, everyone's journey is uniquely their own. You may see Saloon at their peak. Marcus Aurelius said, but you don't know how many times they restarted quietly the force, how many nights they doubted themselves. Marcus Aurelius said, or how many battles they fought just to be standards. It convinces you to hide your restarts. Marcus Aurelius said, to pretend you've had it all together, to mace power in being honest about the process. When you own your restart, you remove the shame from, you say, yes, Marcus Aurelius said, I had to go back to the beginning, and that's. You give others permission to do the same. Marcus Aurelius said, we need more stories of comebacks, not just normalize the truth that sometimes my life requires a pivot, a fresh direction, a new dream, a second or fourth try. Restarting is not about being lost. Marcus Aurelius said, it's about realignment. It's about listening closely to the quiet voice inside you that says, this isn't it. And having the bravery to respond. Marcus Aurelius said, that voice isn't doubt. It's your intuition calling you back of your purpose. Marcus Aurelius said, sometimes what looks like a detour is actually the path. Some feels like being behind is really just being in progress. Marcus Aurelius said, the world may not celebrate your restart. It might quit choices, misunderstand your decisions, or label you inconsistent. Marcus Aurelius said, but you're not here to live according to summonations. You're here to live fully, authentically. Marcus Aurelius said, with the kind of depth that only comes from having the courage to begin again. There is no shame in that. There is only growth. Marcus Aurelius said, restarting without shame means looking your journey. Not the highlight reel, but the raw, honest. Marcus Aurelius said, sometimes broken path that got you here. It's about recognizing that every restart is a chance to do things differently. Marcus Aurelius said, to step forward not as who you were, but as who you're becoming. You owe no one an explanation. Your restart is not a sign of failure. It's a life of hope. Marcus Aurelius said, of refusal to settle for anything less than the life you were meant to live. Refocusing your energy is about reclaiming your power. Marcus Aurelius said, it's about becoming intentional with what you give to, because where your focus goes, your life follows. Every day, Marcus Aurelius said, you wake up with a limited amount of energy, mental, physical, and how you use it determines the direction of your life. Aurelius said, But too often that energy is scattered. It's worth things that drain you, distract you, or delay you. Marcus Aurelius said, "It's poured into worrying about the opinions of analyzing the past, fearing the future." Marcus Aurelius said, "Or trying to control what is completely out of your ease." And the more you give your energy to things that do not serve you, Marcus Aurelius said, the less you have left for what truly matters. Recusing in energy requires awareness. Marcus Aurelius said, "It's the ability to pause and ask yourself, pause with me time, is this helping me grow?" Marcus Aurelius said, "Is this pushing me closer to the person I want to become?" Is no, then that's your signal to redirect. Marcus Aurelius said, "You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone." Marcus Aurelius said, "You don't have to prove your worth in rooms that were never meant for you." Marcus Aurelius said, "Your energy is too valuable to be spent on things that no value in return." It's not always easy. Life is full of noise, social media, endless comparative pressure. All of it pulls at you, demanding your attention. But focus is a choice, not a conscience. You have to decide, over and over again, what deserves your energy. Marcus Aurelius said, and sometimes the decision will feel uncomfortable, when it involves walking away from things that once felt familiar. Marcus Aurelius said, but growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It's when you clear the strutter, cut the distractions. Marcus Aurelius said, and commit to what truly feeds your soul. Refocusing means with yourself about what's no longer working. Marcus Aurelius said, it means letting go of goals that aren't aligned with goals anymore, even if they once meant everything. Marcus Aurelius said, it means being brave enough to stop chasing what looks what feels right. The truth is, Marcus Aurelius said, not everything that's urgent is important. Not everything that demands your energy deserves it. Marcus Aurelius said, some things exist only to test your discipline, to see it'll stay true to your path, or get pulled into someone else's agenda. Marcus Aurelius said, when you begin to refocus your energy, you take control of your life's direction. Marcus Aurelius said, you stop moving out of habit and start moving with it. You give your fourth permission to slow down, to reassess, to realign. Marcus Aurelius said, and in that process, you rediscover your power. You begin to see what really matters, and what never did. That clarity brings peace. When you stop trying to be everything for everyone, Marcus Aurelius said, when you stop chasing validation and start honoring your true, you begin to experience a deeper kind of fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius said, one that doesn't rely on recognition or perfections, but you realize that your energy is sacred, and when you protect it, your entire life shifts differently. You speak with more intention. You act with more confidence. You stop reacting to everything and start responding with wisdom. Your relationships improve because you're no longer pouring into people who only take. Your goals become more focused because you're no longer distracted by things that don't align. You begin to build a life that reflects who you are, not who the world told you to be. And even in difficult seasons, especially in difficult seasons, refocusing becomes your anchor, because challenges will come, plans will fall apart, people will disappoint you. But when you've trained yourself to refocus, you don't stay stuck. You shift, you adapt, you remind yourself that even when you can't control the storm, you can control where your energy goes. So when life feels overwhelming, when everything seems loud and heavy, take a moment to step back, breathe. Ask yourself what you've been giving your energy to, and whether it's lifting you or limiting you. Then make the choice, however small, to turn your focus toward what truly matters. You are not powerless. You are not lost. You are simply being called to refocus, to stop scattering your strength and start living with direction. The more you do that, the more you reclaim your life, one focused decision at a time. Progress isn't always visible, And that can be one of the hardest truths to accept, especially in a world obsessed with instant results. We've been conditioned to believe that progress must look a certain way: loud, obvious, measurable. It's supposed to come with milestones, applause, recognition, and clear before and after comparisons. But real progress often looks nothing like that. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's invisible to everyone, including yourself, and yet it's still happening. Progress can be waking up and trying again after a night of doubt. It can be choosing not to respond in anger when you once would have. It can be saying no to something that drains you, even if you've said yes 100 times before. It can be sitting with your discomfort rather than running from it, facing a hard truth rather than hiding behind distractions. These aren't the kinds of things you can easily post about or track on a chart, but they matter. They are real signs of growth, even if they go unseen. You don't always see the work your heart and mind are doing. Healing isn't a straight line. Self-discipline isn't always glamorous. Transformation is messy and uncertain. There are days when it feels like you're going backwards. Days when it seems like nothing is changing. But underneath the surface, shifts are happening. You are unlearning patterns. You are shedding old beliefs. You are building resilience. And all of that counts as progress. Sometimes the biggest steps forward are the ones you take inward. The ones where you stop trying to control everything. The ones where you finally start listening to yourself instead of everyone else. The ones where you show up, not because you're motivated, but because you're committed. That quiet decision to keep going, despite not seeing results, is what builds character. It's what separates those who succeed from those who stop halfway. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't have visible proof that you're moving forward. You look around and see people announcing achievements, celebrating wins, and sharing their highlight reels, and you begin to wonder if you're falling behind. But comparison is a distortion. You're judging your internal process against someone else's external results. You have no idea what they went through to get there, or what they're still struggling with behind the scenes. Progress is deeply personal. It's not always a promotion, a new title, or a shiny accomplishment. Sometimes, it's having the courage to rest instead of quitting. It's learning to forgive yourself for your mistakes. It's being honest about your needs for the first time in your life. It's finally asking for help. These moments may not be celebrated publicly, but they are milestones in their own right. They shape who you are becoming. There are seasons when progress feels like survival. Just making it through the day is enough. Just holding on, even when your grip is weak, takes incredible strength. During those times, it's important to remember that forward movement doesn't always look like a leap. Sometimes it's a shuffle, sometimes it's a crawl. But if you're still moving, even a little, you're not stuck. You're still in the process. And the process, though invisible, is where the transformation happens. The tree doesn't grow overnight. The roots develop in darkness, long before any green breaks through the soil. But the roots are what hold everything together. You may not see the results yet, but if you're doing the inner work, if you're staying consistent, if you're choosing growth over comfort, if you're learning through every experience, then progress is happening. Trust that. Trust yourself. There's also a kind of progress in pausing, in taking a step back to reassess, in realizing that the direction you were chasing isn't aligned with who you are anymore. Changing your mind isn't failure, it's clarity. Resting doesn't mean you're lazy. It means you're recharging. Even in stillness, your body, your mind, and your soul are preparing for the next season. Not all motion is visible. Not all movement is external. You are evolving in ways you can't always articulate. You are growing in ways that can't be measured. And one day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Not because the world noticed, but because you did. You'll see how each silent effort, each choice to try again, each moment he didn't give up was adding up, building strength within you, shaping your character, preparing you for what's ahead. Progress doesn't need to be seen to be real. It's happening in your thoughts, your responses, your decisions. It's showing up in the way you carry yourself, in the way you bounce back, in the way you hope again even after being disappointed. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Just because it's not visible today doesn't mean it's not happening. The results will come. But for now, trust the process and honor every unseen step you're taking. So if today it feels like you're not moving, if progress seems invisible and the road ahead still uncertain, I want you to remember this: growth is not always loud. Progress is not always obvious. But that doesn't mean it's not real. Every quiet choice to keep going, every moment you rise without recognition, every step you take in faith, it all matters. You don't have to be seen to be significant. You don't need the world to validate your journey for it to be meaningful. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Because even in the silence, even in the stillness, something powerful is happening within you. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Your progress is already unfolding, and one day it will all make sense.